All right, guys, welcome to a special edition of Mostly Peaceful Latinas. I'm your host, Linda, and today we are with Rosie Cordero, who is running for Miami-Dade Sheriff. This will be the first year that citizens of Miami-Dade will be able to vote for a sheriff. So, welcome, Rosie, to Mostly Peaceful Latinas. We do a show. We haven't been recording lately. We were going to come back, but we've always pushed or really encouraged our followers to be locally involved, which is, I think, so important. It's a lot easier for people to hold their representatives accountable if it's at the local level versus federal level. So go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience and then tell
Sure.
us why you are running for sheriff.
So first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate the opportunity. And I too agree that we need to become local. If we encourage local involvement and they can see the results, I think it could only translate to a even better future for when it comes to us voting and choosing our representatives higher, whether it's state or federal. So Rosie Cordero Stutz, that's who I am. I'm a 28-year veteran of the Miami-Dade Police Department. I started in patrol and came up the ranks. I was a police officer, detective, sergeant, lieutenant, a police major, a police chief, and now my current assignment, which is assistant director of the Miami-Dade Police Department's investigative services. And so I command things like the Homicide Bureau, Robbery Bureau, Homeland Security, Cyber, and a lot of the municipalities. Since I came up in this department, I have a very broad, I've worked so many assignments, right? So I was a homicide detective, I was a robbery detective and robbery intervention detail. I was the major robbery. I worked at the mortgage fraud task force and economic crimes. I've even been a PIO for our police department. Um, I ran our personnel management bureau, hiring new officers during my career. These are all like the things, the layers that I've had it over a 28-year career, right? And that comes with time and experience. I decided to run for the office of sheriff because a couple of years ago, I was tasked to be the head of the internal transition committee in order to prepare our department for this transition. And it's not just a name change. It's very important that people understand that. The transition itself, it's complicated. We're creating an entire new office of the sheriff. We're talking contracts, benefits, employees, audits, software. I mean, everything and anything you can think of has to be
Yeah.
touched for this move. And as I was preparing, with my committee for that, I've recognized the importance of it, the serious importance of having someone who, one, understood our history, right? The Miami-Dade Police Department is a rich department. Has so much history. We've evolved and changed it, and we're a good department. We've done good things. Of course, we're not perfect. There's always room for improvement, and I think that this is the office of the sheriff is going to allow for that. But having seen what needed to be done, I definitely saw that it needed to be someone who not only knew it, also had the passion for it, because this will not be an easy task.
Yeah.
And so, therefore, I made the decision that I was going to run for the office of sheriff.
Nice. So, can you explain to my viewers what the sheriff's does, why it's different than any other position that we've had, and how it will be able to hold, I guess,
Hmm.
politicians accountable? Because I don't think a lot of people, even,
Absolutely.
I don't even think a lot of people even know that we are going to be able to vote for sheriff. And I
I
also think
agree. I
that
agree. I agree.
even
It's so
know
important. Yeah.
they were supposed to do, right?
Mhm. So it's funny you should say that because I'm so passionate about that. Like I end up recognizing that I have to almost educate, right? Explain to people what's going on because people are living their everyday lives, and I guess it's a good thing, right? Because they're not so fearful that they're all involved. But it is an important time. So the office of the sheriff is an independent constitutional office that's elected by the citizens of Miami-Dade County. Now, what that means is that the sheriff doesn't report to anybody other than the citizens, other than to address their needs when it comes to safety and security. And this is important. As it stands right now, our number one position is called a director, right? And that person is appointed by the mayor. And so that means that anything that the police department may need or want in regards to enhancing our safety in our community, has to go through the mayor for approval and prioritization. And that can sometimes, as you can imagine, become very sticky.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, that allows for the opportunity for political agendas to influence the methodology that we use for keeping our community safe. And I think we have seen across this country when political agendas drive police action, it can lead to very, very bad things.
Right.
Look at Chicago, New York, San Francisco.
LA. Right.
Yeah. So this is a critical time. Now, the office of the sheriff, this transition is going to establish the tone for the rest of, 10, 15, 20 years down in Dade County. So you need to have somebody who can not only get us through the transition, but to establish a professional office of the sheriff primarily,
Mhm.
not allowing for that deep impact of politics that
Right.
can easily happen in an elected position. Because unfortunately, it is it is a party position, right? That's statutory. Let's make that clear. The law demands that it's a partisan position, right? But I have been serving this community for 28 years. I've been a registered Republican my entire life since I was 18 years old, but it was not an issue until I had to run. And then all of a sudden, that's not going to change who I am. I have been this person, this professional law enforcement for the past 28 years, and my plan is to continue that into the future of our county.
Well, what I've seen and what we've seen is that there's a lot of people. This is a very packed race. I think there's over 10 people, if I'm not mistaken, running for sheriffs. I know you're the only woman. Does that affect you at all? Do you think that people perceive women in law enforcement a little different? There's a little biased, especially lately with culture wars. Um, do you think that is a little challenging?
Well, do I think it's challenging? No, I'll be honest with you, because I didn't have a 28-year career in a
Right.
predominantly male, profession
Mhm.
without kind of having accepted who I am, right, and what I bring to the table. And I really do believe that is the one thing that will always, I want our citizens to educate themselves on the candidate and understand something. So I ask, people will say to me, why do you think you can be sheriff? Like, as a woman, I mean, and I'm going to say this as the answer. I'm the one that's actually doing the job right now. I am the second in command of the seventh largest police, seventh largest police department in this United States, right? So, and that with that comes experience, knowledge, abilities. It comes relationships, and that's what really matters when it comes to actually doing the job, right? The fact that I'm a woman, I call that the cherry on top, and a Latina woman at that.
Yeah. I also saw that President Trump endorsed you. You were well, of course, you endorsed one person, but he endorsed you. I was actually at the rally a few weeks ago before the failed assassination attempt, literally like
Yeah,
days before. That was
yeah,
crazy.
it was
Um,
days.
where he gave you a shout out and he said this is going to be Miami-Dade's next sheriff. Has President Trump's endorsement helped at all? I know that for local races, it's a little bit different than national endorsements as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
Has
Well,
that
I'm gonna
have any weight? Did you get to talk to the president? How did that work out?
So, yes, it absolutely did carry weight, does carry weight. Understanding that his involvement in the sheriff's race, just like we talked about earlier, that people don't know.
Mhm.
Well, if Donald Trump says that he's endorsing a sheriff's candidate in Miami-Dade County,
Right.
people said, "What's going on?" And
Hmm.
yeah, and that was so important to me, right? Number one. Number two is that if there's one, and regardless of where you stand, we know that he is a law and order person. He's a law and order guy. That has been his platform from the beginning. That's never changed, and that is who I am as well. So I do think that those are reasons that the support has been extremely important for me. Never mind the fact that it was a wonderful and a humbling experience for me, right? Having someone of his level acknowledge my professional career, because I was vetted. I had to submit my information, my resume. Took weeks, and then I finally sat down with him for a one-on-one, face-to-face meeting. And we talked about the future of Miami-Dade County. And it was after that meeting that I received the
Yeah.
endorsement. So yeah, it was a process. I think it was based on all the things that I told him, just as I'm sharing with you and your audience,
Mhm.
right? So A, we've got, this is an important time. B, we need someone who understands our county and our community and our department in order to make this transition safe and secure. And three, we need someone who's a professional, a police executive professional that has the knowledge and the ability to see the future, right? And literally to prepare us, I should say, for the future. And so I think that's why I was able to obtain that endorsement.
Nice. Rosie, and if you had to tell our followers why they should vote for you, um, just give us a couple of minutes to 1, 2 minutes where you can tell them a pitch of why they should vote for you. Like I said, this is a packed race. Lots of
Yeah.
people, lots of faces out there. And I do know that there's some candidates who have a lot of money in their pockets through special interests. So, you know, what would you tell them?
So first and foremost, I want to say more than anything, I love my department. I love our county. I love the work that I've done. My husband and I, we met on the job. We've been married for 17 years. We have a 15-year-old son, and he served my husband 35 years on the job as well. Our dog Max is a retired canine from
Oh,
Miami. Yeah, he's a bomb detection dog at MIA. My father-in-law, another 33 years.
wow.
We have a lot invested. We don't want this to go into the wrong hands. So I humbly ask, and say, do the research. I'm good with that because I believe that anyone who does a research will be able to see that I do bring the best consistency and skills to be able to get us safely on the other side. And when I say safely, I don't just mean crime safely. I mean safely in regards to building a brand new organization from the ground up when it comes to the office of the sheriff and creating policy and procedure that allows our community to be able to relay their message and their needs directly to the sheriff so that then the sheriff can be responsible for that. And I want to set that up for the future of this county, not just this immediate. I can see that long-term vision.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for being with me today. I really appreciate that. And Rosie, we look forward to seeing, hopefully win. And good luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being, and
Of
please,
course.
if you, for your audience, anyone who hasn't gotten out to vote, we have early voting still through Sunday, August 18th, and then obviously on August 20th,
Yeah,
voting day. So
so,
thank you very much.
of course. Thank you. All right, Rosie. Let me end this for